Yeah, so kia ora, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. It's great to have you here, and we're going to dive into some meditation this morning. So, and as Marissa was saying before, there will be questions at the end of the webinar, and you're most welcome to ask questions. Most welcome to ask questions, because a lot of people have a lot of questions about meditation. And one of the biggest questions that I'm asked as a meditation teacher is, what is meditation? There's so many different styles of meditation, so many different types of meditation. And when I was living in India and in America and in Australia and meditation ashrams, there were many, many different ways to meditate. So what I would say to you is when you want to learn meditation, the most important thing is to just become present. So let's take a moment now just to arrive here. And Marissa and I would have been doing that too, because we were having Zoom issues at the beginning. So it's like, let's take some time just to arrive. So we're going to arrive. The best way to do that is to connect in with our breath. So you can either close your eyes if you like, or you can keep them open. Often it's easier to close them, but it's up to you. See how you feel. Take a comfortable posture, nice comfortable posture, and just observe your breath as the breath comes in and as the breath goes out. And as the breath comes in and as the breath goes out. The breath comes in and the breath goes out. And just continue to watch the flow of your breath. That's all you need to do. If thoughts come up, and they will, that's okay. Just bring your awareness back to the breath. The breath as it comes in and the breath as it goes out. The breath as it comes in and the breath as it goes out. Awesome. Great. Are we here? Are we present? Being present is one of the most important things that we can do. I mean, just turn on the news, see what's going on right now, or our busy schedules, or our family commitments, work commitments, relationship commitments, all sorts of different things. We have so many things to do during the day. And so often what happens is we get swept up in all of that. This can lead to being stressed. This can lead to be, oh my God, what do I have to do next? How? So to become present is to be in the moment. And then we can decide, okay, where are we going to go with this? Are we going to get stressed out? Or are we going to connect with the breath? Now, connecting with the breath may seem very simple. There is a yogic scripture from the 11th century called the Vijnana Vairava, and it talks about the breath. And it says 21,600 times a day, the breath comes in and the breath goes out. 21,600 times a day, the breath comes in and the breath goes out. Now that's a big number of breaths every single day. It's kind of mind-blowing that someone sat down and counted them out. 21,600 times a day. So the breath may seem very simple, but I've got a question for you. How often are we aware of the breath? How often during your day are you aware of the breath? And the breath comes in and the breath goes out. Now, some of you may be already doing a meditation practice. So you might say, oh, yes, I'm quite aware of the breath and I watch the breath and I'm with the breath. Fantastic. That is great. And some of you might be new to meditation. You might say, I'm not aware of my breath at all, usually. And that's fine too. Being aware of our breath is one of the most natural ways to meditate. And let's face it, we all have the breath. From the moment we're born, right through our life, for the moment it's time to go to the next adventure, the breath comes in and the breath goes out. Take a moment now and just connect again with the breath. Keeping your eyes open this time. Just keep your eyes open. No pressure, by the way. Meditation is also about well-being. So just take the time to be kind to yourself and breathe. And it's so awesome that you're here in this meditation practice. This is a gift to yourself. This is a gift of stillness. This is a gift of being in the present. So just watch as the breath comes in and the breath goes out. As the breath comes in and the breath goes out. And at any time during this presentation, if you feel, oh, my mind's wandering a little bit, I'm not quite sure what Grant's talking about here, oh, I'm a little bit, oh, what's for afternoon tea, oh, what do I have to do this afternoon with my schedule, oh, goodness me. Just bring your mind gently back to your breath as the breath comes in and out, as it flows into your body and out from your body. Okay, and we're ready for the next slide. So we've already spoken about what meditation is. Meditation is about coming into the present moment. And this is important because we get caught up with all the things we've got to do. Oh my goodness me, how many things have I got to do? How many things have I got to be? How many places do I have to go to? What have I got to do today? And when we get caught up in that loop, we can start to get overwhelmed. We can be like, oh gosh, so much to do, so much pressure on my head. What am I going to do? So meditation is about coming into the present moment and understanding that in the present moment, everything is a-okay. Everything's fine, just as it is. Now, does it mean that our busy schedule is going to dissolve and disappear? Does it mean that Zoom is going to always cooperate when Marissa and Grant are trying to jump onto the call? There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be things that are going to come up. But the most important thing is how we start to navigate those challenges, how we start to work with those challenges, how we start to look at those challenges. Are we going to look at them from overwhelm? Oh my God, help! Or are we going to look at them from a place of being centered, a place of being peaceful? And my training in meditation, I started in 1995, so still a lot to learn. And my training in meditation, the breath was an integral part. If we can get the breath right, if we can get our awareness of the breath right, everything else follows. So let's ask a few questions. How do I begin my meditation practice? First of all, you might like to sit with a journal and a cup of tea and just write down what sort of things you'd like to benefit from a meditation practice. Because if you do this, you're much more likely to continue with your practice. You can be clear on the benefits. What sort of things do you want to bring into your life? Do you want to bring more ease? Do you want to bring more peace? Do you want to bring more kindness to yourself? Do you want to silence that inner critic a bit? Do you want to look at certain patterns in your life that you want to let go of? All of these things you can just write down in a journal. Journals are very useful because you can revisit them at any time and have a look at your goals, have a look at the benefits that a meditation brings to your life. Point number 2, very important. Find a meditation practice that suits your lifestyle. So probably best not to go, okay, I am going to do 3 hours of meditation every day. I'm going to sit in full lotus. I'm going to go to the nearest mountain I can find and sit right at the top. I'm going to do that every day. I mean, it sounds wonderful. Is it doable? Is it doable? Is it something that fits in your lifestyle? So you might say, okay, I can do 10 minutes in the morning. I can sit quietly and I'm going to do this technique that Grant shared. I'm just going to follow my breath. And by the way, the breath technique seems very simple, but as I said, it's in a yogic scripture from the 11th century. And the breath in yoga is huge. It's the original breath work, if you like. Yeah. It's called pranayama, control of the breath, working intelligently with the breath. So you might say, okay, 10 minutes in the morning, I'm going to sit quietly, I'm going to follow my breath. And then after that, I might journal for a little bit about what came up during my meditation session. And that's going to be fine. That fits in with my lifestyle. Awesome. That's great. You've found a practice that fits into your lifestyle. It's so important because otherwise we can go into, oh, I didn't meditate for an hour today. And we can start beating ourselves up. And meditation is not about being unkind to ourselves. Really, when it comes down to it, meditation is being kind to ourselves, giving ourselves some space, giving ourselves some me time, which is so rare nowadays to have that. This leads to point number 3. Be kind to yourself and set a realistic target for your practice. Because if you do that, then when you meet your target, it's like, yay, okay, great. And it was easy and it was doable. If you're going to do the 3 hours in the Himalayas every morning, well, then, that's not going to be doable, and it's going to be easy for you to be hard on yourself when you don't meet that target. So setting a realistic target is really important. Now, the thing with meditation too is to be consistent, because the results of meditation accrue over time. They happen over time. Sometimes you don't even notice. Let me give you an example. Say someone pulls in front of you in busy city traffic and you've been meditating. Instead of jumping to the horn and instead of that, you take the time just to connect in with your breath. You wish the person well. Maybe they're in a hurry. Maybe there's an emergency. Maybe something's going on that you don't know about. But what you've done is experience the fruit of your practice just then. You're no longer in the reactive mode. You're much more likely to respond to things rather than react. And there's a big difference. Now, what happens if you miss a day? Are you going to say, okay, look, I'm terrible, I'm bad, I didn't do it, goodness me, I'm going to throw it all out? No need to do that. If you miss a day, no worries. Just start again. I say this a lot with the people that I work with. I work with a lot of different people, a lot of different circumstances. And sometimes they'll say, okay, well, I just had to miss a day. It was so busy. And I say, okay, just start again. Start again. And start again from the place of being really kind to yourself. No need to berate yourself. If we're nasty to ourselves, it's more likely we'll drop the practice. So just be kind to yourself. Okay, time for me to start the practice again. Isn't it great? I'm going to start this practice again. And now, in this moment, become aware of your breath. You might like to close your eyes. You might like to keep them open. All I'd like you to do is be aware of your breath. Instant meditation. Breathe. Yes, breathe. According to yoga, breathing is something that ignites our meditation practice. See what I did there? It ignites our meditation practice. It builds the fire of our awareness. We learn how to be aware. We learn how to be present. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to connect with your breath, because your breath in yoga is connected to your mind. Now, when I say yoga, I'm not necessarily talking about the physical postures of hatha yoga, although they can be very important for looking after the physical body and for calming the mind. When I say yoga, I'm talking about the yoga of meditation. The yoga of meditation, what's that? That's being present. That's connecting in with the breath. Are you still with the breath? If not, that's fine. Just be aware, connect in again. And now I'm going to ask you a very, very important question, and perhaps one that you haven't asked yourself for quite some time. How does your breath feel right in this moment? How does it feel? And by extension, how do you feel? How are you feeling right now? What's going on? You know, when we sign into Ignite and we have the smiley faces, all the different faces, where are you on that scale? What's happening right now? And how does the breath, how does that fit in with that? Is your breath easy right now? Is it difficult at the moment? Is it a bit choppy? Are you feeling a bit sort of stressed? Is the breath a bit shallow? Where are you breathing? Where? This is important. We're going to talk about this in a minute. And experience it. So let's take a few moments now and find out where we're breathing. So take a comfortable posture. I'm going to move into the next slide, please, Marissa. Chest versus belly breath. What I want you to do, take your hands and just place them on your chest. Right? Just place your hands on your chest. And what I want you to do is breathe into the chest. So breathe, trying to fill your chest up with air, and then breathe out. Breathe in, and now breathe out. I want you to really focus on the chest. Breathe in, and breathe out. Really focusing on it. Breathe in, breathe out. Do that for a few times. I want you to feel how that's feeling. Breathing in, and breathing out. Breathe in through that chest. Breathe in, and breathe out. Watch my body as I'm doing this too. Breathing in. You see the shoulders are raising. Breathing out. Do I look comfortable right now? Breathing in and breathing out. I'm not feeling very comfortable right now, I can tell you that. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay, drop your hands for me and just let your breath return to normal. Now, chest breath. That's where the majority of us breathe. When we're not being aware of our breathing, that's where we breathe, in our chest. What this does is it requires more effort and it moves less air. Our muscles between the ribs and the neck have to work really hard at raising and lowering the rib cage. The upper chest expands more than the abdomen, and the shoulders rise up towards the ears. And with all of that work, we're not getting that much air. And when we don't get much air, and we'll talk about that soon, when we don't get much air, it's easy to feel anxious. It's easy to feel uneasy. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and stressed. Right, let's do something different. Take your hand. I want you to place one hand over your belly button. One over your belly button. I'll bring it down a little bit so you can see my hand over your belly button too. Right. So what I'd like you to do is just breathe in deep and feel your hand push out. And now breathe in and feel your hand come in towards your spine. Breathe out. Breathe in, I should say. Feel the hand move out. Breathe out. The hand moves in. Inhale. The hand moves out. Exhale. The hand moves in. Inhale. The belly moves out. Exhale. The belly moves in. Continue breathing in this way for a little bit. Inhaling in through the belly. Exhaling from the belly. Inhaling into the belly. Exhaling. Close your eyes for a moment. Inhale into the belly. Exhale from the belly. How are you feeling? How does that feel compared to chest breath? Inhale. Right into the belly. And exhale. Right out from the belly. Keep your eyes closed and keep inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. In and out of the belly. When you're inhaling, your diaphragm is effectively activated. Its dome descends into your abdomen and it pushes the belly forward. When you exhale, the dome of the diaphragm rises and your navel moves in back towards your spine. What this does is it lets a much larger volume of air into the body. It moves much more air than a chest breath. We are breathing much more effectively when we belly breathe. Okay, gently let your breath come back to normal. We're going to move to the next slide. So why is chest breath and belly breath? What's important about it? Okay, so when we're in chest breath, we're in our sympathetic nervous system. Big words, but basically what it means is we're in a place of preparedness to either react, fight, or run, flight. We're in a place where we're like, okay, it's all a bit dangerous. Oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to respond. And this part of the nervous system is absolutely necessary at times. You know, just imagine if you're running from a tiger. You're going to need it. It helps us evade situations that are dangerous. Fight or flight. The trouble is, we tend to live our lives from this place. Oh gosh, stress, I'm anxious. Oh, what am I going to do now? Oh. And so we go through our days being in this place of fight or flight, and our breath is shallow. It's up here. Try it. Put your hand here, and we're going to breathe like that for a second. We'll exaggerate it, okay? Ready? Be aware of how you're feeling. And now relax. Now instead, let's move into the belly breath. Hands over the navel. Just gently and easily breathing in and out from the belly. Abdominal breathing helps to control the nervous system. It encourages the whole body to relax. Zone in for a minute. How are you feeling? Can you feel the difference? Belly breath activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is often called the rest and digest response. It's a place of ease, rest, enjoyment, and relaxation. Can you imagine going through your day with the belly breath rather than the chest breath? Responding to the moment with a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now, a funny thing too, sometimes we don't want to breathe into the belly because it makes our belly look big. And in the West, we've got to look all nice and svelte. And in India, we really don't worry too much about that. The benefits of breathing in from the abdominal breath, breathing into the abdominals and out from the abdominals, they're so huge that we don't worry too much about our tummy looking a bit bigger. And actually, it doesn't really anyway, it just looks natural. So breathing in from the belly, and breathe from the belly. And just be in this place while we go on to the next slide. So why is it important to know about the breath? And we're going to do a guided meditation very shortly about it. Why is it important to know whether we're chest or belly breathing? Well, so that we can know where we're at. Are we in the sympathetic nervous system? Are we in fight or flight? Or are we in the parasympathetic nervous system? Are we in the rest and digest? And then from this place, we can choose what we want to do about it. Do we want to become present? Do we want to become still? Do we want to become peaceful? Anytime we realize we're breathing shallowly in our chest, we can then gently move into belly breathing. And this is the essence of natural meditation. And many of the yogic scriptures will talk about it. Deep, relaxed breathing helps us enter into the state of natural meditation wherever we are. One thing I'd say though, please, no doing this while driving or operating heavy machinery, okay? For that, keep your full focus. But if you're sitting quietly for your 10 minutes of meditation in the morning, by all means, breathe deep into the belly and breathe out from the belly. If you're in a stressful situation and you need to become centered, breathe into the belly, breathe out from the belly. It's one of the most wonderful things you can do for yourself. Are you going to get it straight away if you've never done it before? Maybe not. It'll take some work, but you're up to the task. And over time, you'll build the habit, because moving from chest to belly breathing is like anything. It's a habit, and it's something we cultivate over time. The more we do it, the easier it becomes, the easier it is to breathe into the belly, and soon it becomes our natural habit and response to, and next slide please, Marissa. While we're waiting for the next slide, let's just breathe. We're going to breathe in life. I chose that title deliberately. When you breathe in, you're breathing in the essence of life. When you breathe out, you're breathing out the essence of life. Plus, we can remember to breathe in the midst of life, wherever we are, whatever we're doing. The breath is always there. So connect with the belly breath rather than the shallow chest breathing. And when we do this, we learn how to live from a place of meditation, of joy, of ease, naturalness. Take a comfortable posture. We're going to do a 5-minute meditation, and then we'll open the floor for any questions you may have. So first of all, close your eyes and bring your hands up to your chest, because I want the contrast here, all right? So I want you to focus in on breathing into your chest. Breathe in and breathe out, and just feel how much work that is. Breathing in, breathing out. You're in a nice, comfortable posture, but the breath is a bit constricted because you're breathing into the chest. And now take your hand, place it down over your navel, and gently breathe into your navel, the belly moving outwards, and breathe out. The belly moves inwards. Breathe in, right into the belly button, and breathe out. Breathe in, and breathe out from the navel. Breathe in, and breathe out from the belly. This practice will ignite our meditation practice and will allow our natural well-being to emerge. Breathe in from the belly, breathe out. So natural, so simple, so immediate. Breathe in from the belly, breathe out. What they call in the ancient language of Sanskrit, the language of yoga, Sahaja Samadhi, natural well-being. Breathing in from the belly, and breathing out. And let's do this for a few more minutes. Just breathing in and breathing out. If the mind wanders, that's okay. Just bring your awareness back to the breath. As you breathe into the belly and breathe out. Gently being aware of the breath as the breath comes into the belly and as it goes out from the belly. If the mind is busy, just refresh your awareness on your breath. This is natural meditation. Very takes us to a place of natural well-being. The breath comes in and the breath goes in. And now we're going to gently bring ourselves out of our natural breath meditation. And we do this gently so that we can carry the state of meditation with us after we've finished our practice. So you might want to just wiggle your toes a little, wiggle your fingers, gently move your body. And when you're ready, and at your own pace, you can gently open your eyes. And just take a moment now to feel how you're feeling. If you're feeling still, if you're feeling peaceful, no need to rush from that place straight away. Stay there for a while. It's a lovely place to be. Sahaja Samadhi, natural meditation. So, do we have any questions?
I'll just stop the screen share for us there. Thanks, Grant. That was really
You're
awesome.
welcome, Marissa. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you.
Well, we haven't got any questions yet, but I
Okay.
have got one to kick us off.
Okay, awesome.
I notice when I do any type of meditation, I'm quite fidgety.
Mm-hmm.
Is that bad? Is that good? Do I just roll with it? Like, yeah, it feels
Yeah.
wrong when I'm sitting here very fidgety while I'm trying to like relax and be still.
Yeah, what a great question. Thank you. It's quite normal to be fidgety, especially if we've got a lot of stuff going on, especially say, for example, if Zoom decided to throw a tantrum just before our webinar, especially, whatever's going on, right? So it's not that it's bad, it's not that it's good. All that's happening when you're sitting to meditate like that is you're becoming aware of how your body is in that moment. And when our mind is really busy, when a lot's going on, we fidget a lot. Our toes might wiggle a lot, or our hands, or it's because our mind is very active at that moment. And it just needs a bit of time just to settle down. So to actually see that and recognize that is very valuable. And
Cool.
and what I would say is just connect more deeply in with the breath and just observe. And over time, you'll find that the body becomes naturally more still. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sweet. We've got some questions come through.
Okay, cool.
Is blood pressure affected by shallow chest breathing?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Mm,
it can be for sure. Not only that, because with the breath and the mind, they're so connected, right? So this is where yoga really talks about the breath and the mind, right? So when we're shallow with our breath, everything is more difficult. Right? It's much harder for the body to attain equilibrium. So high blood pressure is when the body there's less equilibrium there. Okay. So to relax into natural breathing, it gives our body the opportunity to come into equilibrium. Does that answer the question?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay.
What's the difference between meditation and mindfulness?
What a great question. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it. So mindfulness is kind of in the same area as meditation. Mindfulness is often a Buddhist practice. Meditation started with the Hindu practice of yoga. Okay. So they say like around about the 5th century or so is when yoga started to really start to become popular. Mindfulness is, say, I'll give you an example of mindfulness. Okay. So I've got my cup. I'm bringing my cup up. I am aware I'm going to be drinking. I'm bringing the cup up to my mouth. I am sipping the water, tasting the water, bringing the cup down, putting the cup over here, putting the cup down mindfully. That's an example of mindful movement, mindful meditation. Let me give you an example of what meditation might look like when you're picking up that cup. As I pick up the cup, the breath comes in and breath goes out. As I sip, I am aware of the breath coming in and the breath going. As I place the cup down, I'm aware of the breath coming in and the breath going out. So can you see the difference there? It's a bit of a subtle difference, but it's there. One of it is really becoming mindful of our actions or mindful of our thoughts or mindful of our steps. And it's a great way to come into the present moment. It's fantastic. Meditation is often more focusing on the breath or being aware and then doing whatever we're doing from that place.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Grant.
You're welcome.
Someone has said that meditation makes you feel sleepy.
It
Do you
can.
do you have any I guess like tips on how to make you feel less sleepy afterwards?
Yeah, sure. So is this sleepy afterwards or sleepy during the practice?
Um,
Or maybe a bit of
uh,
both?
both maybe.
Okay, great. So let me give you an example. When I was living in the ashram, we used to get up at 4 a.m., right, to do our meditation. People think, oh my God, up so early, very, very spiritual. That must be why. It was also very, very practical because India is hot. And so at 4 a.m. in the morning, it's much less hot than it is at like 8 a.m. in the morning, right? So what we'd do is we'd get in, I'd go into the meditation room and you'd be very quiet. And then you start your meditation, and then the person next to you would be like, and I'm not saying that that person might have been me sometimes, or maybe that could have been. So sometimes we do fall asleep during meditation, and actually, it's a really good thing. We might just need a bit of rest. Our physical body might need a bit of rest. We may not have got enough sleep the night before. Might need a bit of rest. They call it in India snore samadhi, which means natural meditation of snore, of sleeping. So sometimes the physical body needs it. Here's a hint though, if you don't want to go to sleep, sit upright. Sometimes people tend to lean back on a cushion, or they might sort of lie down on the floor in shavasana after a hatha yoga practice. And those things are wonderful. They can be very restorative and relaxing for the body, but it's much more likely you're going to go to sleep if you're lying down to meditate. If you
Makes
sit upwards, if you sit upwards, it allows the energy just to move up and down the spine, and you're more likely to stay alert. Now, if we're talking about feeling sleepy after meditation, stand up after you finish meditating and just shake it all out. Shake it all out, shake your feet out, shake your hands out, shake your head. You might want to make a bit of noise, jump up and down a little bit, just get the energy moving through the body again. Or if you have some sort of really like invigorating smell, like a really fresh perfume or peppermint oil or something like that, just a bit of a, and that will start to pep you up a little bit.
cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What length of time would you recommend a person starting out in meditation to meditate?
I would say at least 5 hours. Kidding. Everyone's like, with this easy breath meditation we just did, I'd say maybe start for like 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a great time. Just put the timer on your phone. Go, okay, 5 minutes, off we go. You'll find if you're doing this practice that your mind will be active, and it's not a bad thing. Our mind does need to be active. Our mind needs to move. And can you imagine if our mind went completely blank at the beginning of a webinar? Big trouble, right? So the mind does need to move. If the mind starts to move a lot, though, in meditation, the easiest thing, just bring your awareness back to the breath. So I would say start at 5 minutes. If you wanted to start longer, that's great too. You could start at maybe 9 minutes or 20 minutes. But as we said in the beginning, find something that works easily for your schedule so that you can do it, right? Rather than going, oh, I wanted to do an hour and I only got 5 minutes in. No, if you say, okay, I've started with 5 minutes and I've done the 5 minutes, it's like, yay, okay, great. I have achieved my goal. That's wonderful. And now I might move to 7 minutes next week, or 9 minutes next week, or 11 minutes next week. So make it attainable. And as I said, it accrues over time, right? And soon meditation won't be just what happens when you're sitting down quietly following your breath. You'll be able to access that state during the day.
Cool.
Yeah.
That kind of leads into the next question quite
Uh-huh.
well.
Yep.
How important is your physical situation or environment to meditation practice? Or is it something that you can do anytime, anywhere, like on the bus, for example?
That's such a great question. Look, if you're going to do like a formal practice at home in the morning, I would say make it really lovely. Make it something you really enjoy. Yeah. So if you enjoy burning incense or fragrant oils, or have a lovely candle, or you have a really soft, beautiful meditation space, a lovely seat for you to sit and meditate, then do that by all means. That is absolutely wonderful. And you can sink into the breath and just have a really delicious start to your day. It's such a nourishing way to start your day. People often say to me, Grant, why do you meditate? And I go, well, because it works. It works.
Mm.
So find a way to have your practice be really nourishing for you. Really, really, it's your time. You don't have to worry about anything else. Put that phone on silent, have that time for you. Make it really, really about nurturing yourself and being kind to yourself. I love the second part of the question too. Of course, you can meditate on the bus as long as you're not driving the bus, by the way, then don't, please don't. But if you're sitting on the bus and doing what you need to do, of course you can meditate. No problem at all. Just sit quietly. I would suggest probably with your eyes open if you're doing the breath meditation, or you can close your eyes if you wish to, and just follow the breath. The only thing I would suggest with meditation, and I really do mean it, it's not just a joke. If you're driving or operating heavy machinery or whatever it is, please no. Best not to meditate at that point. Right? You
Sweet.
need all your focus. Yeah. But at other times, yes, by all means. Yeah.
Sweet. Someone else has asked, I find it very hard to clear my mind when I try to meditate or focus
Yeah.
on meditating. When that
Yeah.
happens, would you recommend continuing to try or to try again later on?
I would recommend continuing to try, and I would also say to you, don't feel discouraged when the mind is really busy, because a lot of the times we have the misconception that meditation is about having a completely still mind. Right? Meditation isn't necessarily about having a completely still mind all the time. It's about understanding the mind. It's about observing the mind. So actually, if we have a lot of thoughts, it's not a bad thing. All we need to do is take a step back so we can kind of observe them, so we can see them for what they are. Some of my most valuable meditations have been when I've seen my thought processes right up close, because I can look at them and go, oh, where am I with my mind? What's going on with me today? How am I feeling? So it's actually a really great sign that you can see that your mind is really quite busy when you're meditating. It means that you actually have a place, a vantage point to look at your mind. It's a great thing. And sometimes your mind will go very quiet, but not for very long.
Mm.
Not for very long. Yeah. So yeah, when it happens like that, just think of like a big blue sky, beautiful blue sky, like we've got here in Auckland today, beautiful blue sky, and you've got some big fluffy clouds scudding across the sky, right? Your thoughts are like the clouds. We don't try and grab the clouds. We just watch them as they go across the sky. In the same way, do that with your thoughts and just relax back into the breath.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
We've probably got time for a couple more questions.
Yeah, go for it. I'm loving these.
Sweet. Does meditation benefit ADHD over time?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it does. What it does is it just helps to calm the mind, right? With ADHD, there's so much going on. All over the place. We've got so much going on. Myself, I'm borderline ADHD. I'm always like, what's the next thing? Okay, I've got this to do, that to do. Blah, blah, blah. Right.
Mm.
The mind starts to become more still over time with meditation. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yep. Yep.
Um, are there benefits to meditating at a certain time of the day over others, e.g., first thing in the morning or just before bed? And I just add that into another question about sleep. Does it have the same effect if you meditate to get to sleep?
Okay, awesome. So there is something in India where they say that in the morning is good because when you wake up in the morning, your mind is naturally more still. right? So your mind, there's less thoughts, there's less sort of like, oh, what's happening today? And I've got all these things to do and all. So the mind is naturally more still. That being said, do your meditation practice when it works for you. I often find that the mid-afternoon is wonderful for me. You know, when you get that 3 p.m. sort of slump, like, oh,
Mm.
a meditation is really nice then because it just helps to refresh us for the rest of the afternoon. And before sleep, sometimes it's great just before bed. Other times it can really energize you and you might find it harder to get to sleep. Just experiment and find out what time works best for you.
Oh.
And as far as helping to go to sleep, best way to do that is to lay down on your back in what they call shavasana, which is a posture which is you're just laying down on your back with your hands just gently rest by your side. And that allows the nervous system to completely relax and just follow your breath or do your meditation technique and allow that to help you glide into sleep.
Awesome. Thank you. Well,
Thank you too.
we've had lots of comments of people saying, not a question, but thank you. Thank you so much
Oh,
from
you're
a bunch
most
of people.
welcome. You're
So
most welcome. My
thank,
pleasure.
thank you so much, Grant. It was really, I definitely needed it after the Zoom after the Zoom troubles. Yeah, and I'm sure other
Same.
people got heaps out of it. And thank you everybody for attending. I hope you all have a great rest of your week and go well, everyone. Kia ora.
Remember, breathe, breathe.
Ka kite.